The final animal pattern event at the World Series of Bowling always has multiple levels of intrigue. The players who have one last chance to make a show.
I wouldn't know because it's my first time defending, but I'm going to go on a limb and say it is very hard to do. So I'm not really going to worry about defending my title. I'm just going to bowl as best as I can. I haven't bowled very good this week, so we'll just go out there and see what we can do.
The players trying to make all 3 animal pattern shows.
It's definitely a mental grind out here, especially when, we've already bowled 40 games to get up to this point. So honestly, just going up there, throwing my frame, and if I have a bad break, I just move on and just try to treat it like it's a new frame.
The players looking to hold or seize a spot inside the World Championship cut.
I'm feeling pretty good physically. I've kind of been figuring some things out. I feel like it's been a non-stop grind a little bit this year, but I get to cross with my boy Jesper today. We're bowling on Shark. I'm pretty good at keeping it in front of me and lofting it a little bit. So looking forward to just kind of hanging out with him for 20 games and see what we get in score. But yeah, slow and steady. So I guess I'll be the turtle instead of the hare.
We got a lot more bowling left. We got a new pattern today, so gonna have a new game plan. Got to start fresh, and like I said, we're still sitting pretty well overall for the World Championship. So gonna try to keep bowling well and see if I can put myself in a good position for that one.
And the players who want to go home. Several new names found the top 10 in the first round of Shark Championship qualifying. Only Anthony Simonson and Kevin McCune, in a tie for 5th and 7th respectively, have seen their names this high this early on leaderboards during the World Series.
I just told him to keep his angles a little closer. He doesn't really see the ball pick up on this pattern, so I said just play your A game. And he loves this house. He won the Peterson here, so that's basically how he bowled the Peterson.
Darren Tang averaged 240 to land in 2nd place. His ball rep, Steve Jacobs, explains.
It's pretty simple. He's not bowling on Scorpion anymore.
Maybe Tang should elaborate.
Yeah, I'm not bowling on Scorpion.
Matt Ogle began the round with 300. He ended the round in 3rd place on Shark and 30th in the World Championship. Four pins behind Ogle was 2018 Player of the Year Andrew Anderson. Richie Teese, the 2017 PBA Shark champion, averaged 231 and was tied in 5th with Simonson. Matthew Russo, Cortez Schenk, and J.R. Raymond filled out the top 10 after 5 games. Leading the field with a plus 209 block was reigning Player of the Year Jason Belmonte. Bill O'Neill, who was 31st on Shark and 12th, the number in the World Championship, explains why.
Well, I did bowl first, so I was up before him, so he got the read, and I only missed my target like 3 or 4 times the entire block, so he got to see, he got to see what my ball was doing all the time. The back half of my games were terrible because I'm bowling with Jason and he was wrecking the lanes.
It's helpful when you've got someone of Bill's skill set to throw a ball and get a read off the pair. And he's right. He hit what he was looking at for the most part. So I'm going to watch him again real close.
I also said that the last half of my games were trash because you wrecked the lanes.
That's not fair because for the most of the day, my ball went over the lane. So they were trash before I even got there. I threw it over it. Maybe for the first couple. I'll do better this time. I won't trash him for him this time.
Game 1 of round 2 was perfect for Pontus Anderson, who finished the block in 11th on Shark and 16th in the World Championship. The star of the round was Packy Hanrahan, who rolled 242 over to move into a tie for the lead. Ogle shot plus 136 to share the top of the leaderboard. Belmonte didn't fall far, holding third with 10 games to play. He also moved up to 8th in the World Championship. Simonson, solidly in the World Championship cut, was 4th halfway through Shark qualifying, trying to make his second consecutive top 5. Right behind Simonson was a tie between Sean Maldonado and Dom Barrett.
We've got so many games. It's been a really long, tough week for everybody. But just try to keep going. You know, you had some good games, you had bad games. All the scores add up at the end and you just keep bowling each game.
Teese and McCune both stayed inside the top 10. O'Neill was plus 155 to get into 8th despite a difficult final game in which he managed 190.
The last game up here is it's an adventure. They are hooking a lot in the front, and I don't know what the hell my ball's doing. Tommy says I gotta loft it. I stink at lofting it. Actually, I should rephrase. I don't stink at lofting it. I just can't loft it. I can't throw it that high. I can't hold on to the ball long enough to loft it. And then when I do, I completely miss it.
In 9th after round 2 was Pete Burgos, who bowled a perfect game during Cheetah qualifying and now was in contention to make it to his first PBA telecast.
It looks a lot worse than it.
Those can't be yours, man.
No, listen, I told him if that was a pair that I was going to, that he was no longer going to be my roommate and I was going to knock him off. No, this is not acceptable to me. As long as I'm not bowling on his pairs, I'm okay with it.
Ogle's good mood got better after round 3 when he'd broken the tie with Hanrahan and had the lead all to himself with a 228 average. Hanrahan's 225 average was still good enough for second, as he also nearly locked himself into the top 12 for World Championship match play, nearly 261 pins ahead of 13th.
Pretty much going to stay the same in the bag, just trying to keep that mindset the same, keep it simple, and see how many good shots I can make.
Another player with a good chance to make World Championship match play while also trying to qualify for his first animal pattern show of the season was O'Neill, whose up, down, up block totaled plus 101 and got him to 3rd place. In 4th was Shank, rolling 155 over in an effort to make his first show since the 2022 PBA Players Championship West Region Finals. Virgos kept climbing, placing himself in 5th by the end of the block. Trailing Virgos was Buttriff. With Tackett mired in 30th with 5 to play, Buttriff was looking to become the only player to qualify for all 3 animal pattern telecasts.
Obviously, you know, the World Championships is the big one, so got a lot of work to do for Shark, but at the same time,
Tahavanainen moved up to 8th in his quest to make his second straight show. Belmonte dropped to 9th in both the Shark and World Championship.
It's a tricky house. This is a really difficult house. So not only do you need to read, who's on your pair, but you can look around a little bit to get a gauge on how the building is playing them. But more than anything, you got to hit your target from the first shot, watch what happens, make that move if you have to, and be really switched on.
Notably outside the top 10, Simonson, 10 pins back of 10th with his top 10 in every event this year streak on the line. In 13th, Sam Cooley. The two-time PBA Tour Champions World Championship hopes looked like a long shot, but his plus 149 round 3 looked like it might set him up for a big final round on Shark. The exhilarating chaos of the final round of qualifying at the World Series of Bowling can't be matched anywhere in sports. The cut to the top 5 for the Shark Championship coincides with the cut to the top 12 for the World Championship, along with 2 cash line cuts to determine who gets paid, all combined with the merciful end to the 60-game behemoth that was World Series of Bowling 14. Matt Ogle left no doubt as to who would bowl for the Shark title. His plus 217, a 243 average over the last 5 games not only sealed the #1 seed for Shark, but also locked him into 8th, a 9-spot jump in 1 round in the World Championship.
Exhausted from the 40 games before that, and now I got 40 games of practice, so I was pretty sharp, and on Shark you got to be pretty sharp. But it worked out, and everything went well this week. Dominating the Shark pattern against all these greatest players in the world is means something for me, for confidence for sure, and then to be 8th or 9th in the worlds as well. So it's definitely confidence going into the show, and we'll see what happens.
Hanrahan held on to second, bowling no worse than 222 during his final 5 games. He would enter World Championship match play in 5th.
I think being the only lefty on the show is really going to be the key for me, trying to set him up and make him as nice as possible for myself. I think just like bowling on shows recently have helped me, just in terms of like being more relaxed, being able to be a little more calm. Obviously, like everybody gets nervous up there. If you don't get nervous, you don't care, right? So feeling that energy, using that energy, and just trying to stay focused and have some fun out there. I wish more people felt the way I do, because like it's super cool that I get to bowl for a living, and I don't care if you're 20 years in or if you're 4 or 5 years in like me. Getting to just compete in something for a living, being a competitive person like myself, is just, like, it's awesome.
Neither Tackett nor Buttriff would qualify for all 3 animal pattern shows. While Tackett rolled a plus 206 block, it wasn't enough to get into the top 5, and he finished in a tie for 9th.
Kind of put myself in a big hole yesterday, but the important thing is just get myself in better position for the World Championships. Try to bowl some good games today. I feel like if I could bowl 100 to 200 over today, that'd be a good plus in the World Championships. Move myself up in these standings. Obviously, I still think there's an opportunity if I bowled really well to get a check in this event, but that's going to take a ton of strikes to do that.
Buttriff finished 6 pins ahead of Tackett in 8th. 2 players would join Buttriff and Tackett with the multi-show distinction, with both Simonson and Tahavainen qualifying for the Shark Championship finals 2 days after making it to the Scorpion telecast. Simonson's 238 average in the final round locked him into the 3rd seed and guaranteed him 11 top 10 finishes in 11 events this season.
It was an adventure to say the least today. A lot of up and down games. A lot of not really understanding what I'm supposed to do. They felt drastically different today than they were yesterday. Balls just kind of seemed to float through the front a little bit easier. Drilled a ball for this night block. Somebody actually gave me an idea to throw a urethane ball the first game. I was fortunate enough to bowl 270. Drove kind of next pair, and then was able to get into a ball and kind of catch a few breaks. The last game I had a couple of Brooklyns, but fortunate enough to hang on and get back in there.
Tahavainen's final round included a 290 in the penultimate game, putting him into the 4th spot with choice of starting lane against Marshall Kent, Sam Cooley, or Dom Barrett.
I felt like I wasn't out of trouble at any point except my second last game when I shot 290. It's been grinding all 20 games, I can't say anything else.
Kent held the narrow lead entering the final game and bowled 213 for a total of 400 over on Shark. Barrett came from behind with a 258 game to get past Kent by just 4 pins. But it was Cooley who got what he needed, posting 247 in the final game to stay ahead of Barrett and pass Kent, taking the final spot in the stepladder and looking to win his second title of the season.
I just figured I needed a big game, the last game, to have any kind of chance. I kind of heard a few whispers behind saying that I had to get, like, magic number was like 232, whatever the number was. So I heard that just after the front six, and that may have caused a little bit of complacency. But after that, I told myself just stay clean, try and get as many pins as you can, and just wait and see.
Fighting for the 12th spot in the World Championship cut, Belmonte, Svensson, Troop. Troop was on the outside looking in, and his 212 wasn't enough. Belmonte's 203 was enough to stay ahead of Troop, and Svensson's 213 got past Belmonte into 11th. The Shark Championship stepladder finals would take place 5 days later and World Championship match play the day after that. But first, the return of USA versus the World, next on the World Series of Bowling Chronicles on the PBA YouTube channel.